I'm very happy to be here. This is an exciting opportunity for me because unlike most of the audiences that I speak to, everybody here wants to speak better. And some of you want to speak professionally. So let's start there. How many of you, just quickly, joined Toastmasters at least in some small part because you'd like to get paid to speak in your area of expertise? Awesome. Okay, which is one of the reasons why you're here in this session. I know you have a choice in sessions to go to. I'm glad that you came to mine. And what I'd like to do today is just have, for the next 45, 50 minutes, and we'll do some questions at the end, just a real candid conversation about what that looks like. What does it look like to speak for money? Because it's very different. In Toastmasters, we give a lot of recognition. We honor our members. We help people cultivate their self-confidence, their speaking abilities. It's very different when you go out and try and speak at a conference, or when you go out and try and market your own seminar and get people to come to an event and even pay to go to an event that you're speaking at. People aren't nearly as agreeable as Toastmasters. But that's okay, and there's some exciting opportunities within that realm, and I'd like to discuss those with you. But a couple more quick questions just to get a feel for who's in the room here. I'm sure that some of you have already been paid to speak. Awesome. That's fantastic. Anyone been paid more than $1,000 to speak? Fantastic. Just out of curiosity, anyone over 5,000? Okay. That's fantastic. So the reality is, amongst us, here within us, in the peers in the room, we have a lot of expertise. We have a lot of experience in this space. I'm not the only person who is doing this or trying to do this. But the fact is that I do this for a living. This is what I do. This is what I'm trying to do. And I'm not a millionaire yet. And I'm not going to be there tomorrow or next month or next year. But it's a process. And I'm getting better at it. And things are getting better and better all the time. And that's really what I want to share with you, is the good and the bad, what I have found to be essential, and the most valuable things that I've done along the way that have helped me start to get a foothold and start to make a little bit of money. We'll go through some interesting examples, but before we get into that, people always ask about my last name, so I ended up making a slide about it. I have a long last name, and it's pronounced Schwerdtfeger. Schwerdtfeger. So I should have run for governor. Because I would have gotten votes, I think, and I missed my chance. But maybe we'll have another recall. Who knows? And I'll get my chance. But that's my last name. It's a long German last name, and people pronounce it any number of different ways. So I just came back from Stockholm, Sweden. How fun is that? It was really neat. And for me, it was a big victory. It's not the first time I've been there. It's the second time. But this is pivotal to the story. And again, I'm going to try and bring this out into examples for all of you, because everyone in this room is here for a different reason. And you know why you're here. I don't know why you're here. But I'm hoping to present some case studies to show you some of my experience, and maybe we can get some questions. It's not really that busy of a room, so if people have questions, you're welcome to kind of pipe up and let me know along the way. But I was at this conference in Stockholm, Sweden, and they paid for my way to go. They paid for my travel to go. And this is actually an awful picture, and I'm sure because it was actually quite dark. It was a huge room. You should have seen the room. It was really European with the big arches. It was a big, tall room. And this is me way back in here. It's a bad picture. And they paid me $1,500 to go. That was the speaking fee, and then they paid for my travel. So I didn't make a huge amount of money, but I made $1,500, right? So, and that's a good place to start, because I don't want people in the room thinking that I'm going to offer some tidbits that are going to result in getting $20,000 speaking gigs. That's a process. And my primary message is it's not that difficult. It doesn't have to be that difficult. It doesn't have to be this insurmountable task. Kind of a dream on the horizon that you have yet to accomplish, perhaps for some of you have, but it is a process, and it does take some time, and there's a series of steps that you can go through. But turns out that in this conference there was about 15 speakers. I'm not sure if it was 15 or 16, right around there. And I was the second highest paid speaker there. So most of these people speak for free. That's your competition. Right? A lot of these people speak for free. And then a few of them got travel expenses paid for. I got travel plus a small amount of money. And then the keynote. The one person who was paid more than me made $20,000.
Wow.
So just think about that for a second. This is a great place to start. Okay? The keynote is the draw. The keynote is the guy who, or gal, all my pronouns are sex neutral. Okay, all my pronouns, whether it's he, she, means the same thing. But he was brought in to bring the audience because he's a known person within my industry. His name's Mitch Joel, and he's a speaker in internet marketing. He's known as the digital marketing guru, and he's known all over the place in my space. And he was paid $20,000, and the next highest paid person was paid $15,000 or $1,500. So I wish it was $15,000. So the moral of the story is that making the grade is one thing, but becoming that keynote speaker is an entirely different thing. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it is that gets people into that position. Because once you're there, it only takes one conference to name you as the keynote, and it changes forever. Right? You do it once, that's it. From that day forward, for the most part, you're the keynote. So maybe that's the inevitable goal. And this guy speaks about 20 times a year. And he has a real company. So he's not speaking that much, once or twice a month, but every time he's doing it, he's making $20,000. And in fact, the Speakers Bureau he uses, which is the same Speakers Bureau, anyone here familiar with the name Seth Godin, by any chance? A couple people? He's a very well-known blogger in the marketing space. So he writes on the internet about marketing, about progressive marketing. They use the same Speakers Bureau, and their standard rate is $25,000. So this is actually cheaper than what he usually gets. It's amazing. It's a lot of money. Now, I made about $1,500, and I'm thrilled.